Hey team, it's time for an early career designer's portfolio review. I'm Megan Thomas and I'm a senior UX designer with almost 10 years of experience in enterprise software design. I've taught and mentored over 300 early career designers through UC Berkeley's UX UI Design Bootcamp. In this video, I'm going to review an early career designer's portfolio and share my thoughts as a senior designer. My goal is to provide actionable feedback to help them succeed as they look for a job in the UX industry. Join me for a stream of consciousness walkthrough as I assess one of their case studies. Remember, mine is just one opinion. Make sure to get multiple perspectives before making any changes. All right, let's dive into the review and learn together. Hey friends, I am, guess what I am? I'm excited. I've been working on some really cool stuff in the background that I haven't really announced because I'm more of a watch and see kind of type of person. I don't like to self-promote too early, but I'm really excited to be here today. I'm super excited because I also get to review Ciondra's portfolio. I'm excited because this is really cool looking. Hold on, let me refresh this. So there's a really cool intro animation, but I also recognize, and I'm going to move my little person around here, my little avatar, whatever this little screen is that you're watching me on. Hello. I love this where it says we use cookies, accept all. I'm going to accept all. And this is also very interesting. I don't know what Ready Mag is, so I am curious. I'm going to click through. Outstanding websites without coding. Okay, that's dope. Way to find a new technology and lean into it, Ciondra. I'm thrilled that you're doing this. I've seen a bunch of websites that are using Webflow is really complex. Like you got to have some coding skills, I think. It says it's a no-code website builder, but let's be real. And if you want to refine it, it's you got to have some coding skills. And then there's some like no-code entirely platforms where you just plug and play. Squarespace is an example. I use Squarespace for my portfolio, or at least my website. My portfolio, for the most part, is just PDF slide decks. Now I'm rambling. It doesn't matter. I'm just excited that you explored what would work best for you. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to say here. Really been inside my brain all day today. And now I'm like, ooh, hello, people. Even though we're not synchronously chatting, I feel like I'm talking to you right now. So I'm excited. All right. Hey, Ciondra. I'm Ciondra D. Brown. I'm a Detroit-based digital designer. I'm loving all of the alliteration. I love to create fun and engaging experiences that entertain and educate. All right. So I'm expecting to see some educational entertainment throughout some of these case studies. I love this. Ciondra Danae. I'm also an art educator, gamer, and artist. Most importantly, a proud paw parent to a sweet cat named Charles. I completely appreciate. I especially like, is it Mr. Charles? Is it Dr. Charles? Is it Dr. Charles McFuzzy Pants? Like, I would love to know all the names. I don't know why, but I feel like that would be so fun. So fun. And I don't know if anybody can hear my poor sweet angel McFurry Pants, but whenever I leave the room and I don't let him know, he likes to howl from the base of the stairs. Hold on. I had to literally go stand at the top of the stairs and wave for him. He's old. Anywho, I love that you bring your personality and the things that are important to you here to this portfolio. I completely understand and I completely agree with it. We are not just digital people in a box that are plugged into the internet. No, we're humans with real lives and things that matter to us. And I really love seeing that. I love the accessibility. Scroll down for my projects. We didn't put anything that was flashing or moving. We said, hey, you got to come look down here. Mixity. So we're featuring Design Sprint, UI design, mobile design for a project that is connecting travelers with the local music scene. Okay, that's interesting. All right. Want to read more about that? Dust Rats, responsive design, game design, and research. Sci-fi RPG, a role-playing game set in a dystopian universe. What? This is super new. Wow. Oh gosh, that is super exciting. I don't even know if I have the context to give you an accurate or useful. I'm gonna click on it here in a few anyways. All right, a leveler. Dungeons and Dragons, D&D, 5e character builder. What does that mean? Easy, accessible fantasy fun at your fingertips. Research, UX design, and app design. I am not a D&D person. I always wanted to play. I've never been invited. I don't actually know what to do. No big deal. I also feel like it's like a commitment. So give me a little bit more context for what 5E means, simply because I don't know enough to be interested. So I'm totally open to the idea of like fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, gaming, but tell me why this would be meaningful or helpful for the person who is reviewing this and for them to see what you're good at. So I can see that research UX design and app design is part of it, but I think part of like my lack of desire to click on it is like, what does this mean and what does it mean for me? So maybe a little bit more context. This is really, really cool. All right, so I'm going to click on, well, wait a second. So this is UX design and app design. This is hard. I'm gonna click on Mixity, even though it doesn't mention UX design. Some design sprinting has UX elements included, and it's your top project. So I'm assuming, based on primacy bias, that you are going to put your favorite, the thing that you're most proud of at the very top of your portfolio. So I'm gonna click on Read More. Is it loaded? Is it? Oh, okay. So that took a really long time to load. How come the content that came through here, was it only on scroll? And if so, or maybe it was just the document object model. So the DOM, which is basically everything that we see as a user in the browser, it was loading in order of the hierarchy on the page. But if that was the case, then this image must be enormous. Let's see. 1645. Ooh, okay. So that image is far, far, far too big. Let me inspect. If I click on this, all right, so that's a small. If I inspect this, let's look at how big this is. All right. Width 1645 pixels and height 2397. Lord, that is a huge chunker of an image file. So what that did is it prevented the rest of your content from loading until this was prioritized by the network. And I know these are boring words and stuff, but basically take this image and go drop it into tinypng.com or tinyjpeg.com. I'll show you. Why do I have all these songs in my head that are dying? Oh, we have redesigned tinypng. Okay. So I would take this image and drop it into, let me open that tab. I'm just going to go ahead and save image as image blah, 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 large image. I'm going to put that in my downloads folder. We're going to take it over here. You're going to see drop image here. So it's 797 KB and it literally just cut off 697. So basically it cut off most of that. It saved it now as a 101 kilobyte KB size file. So it just reduced the file size by almost 90%, which means your page will load much faster. So definitely take that image and run it through a tiny PNG, a little image minimizer, and make this load just that much faster. I would also consider, I'm loving that you've got it here in the device mockup. I personally would love to see this just a little bit less of this big old naked white space. It's fine. It's fine. I feel like I want more details first, but I kind of also love that you went with the Apple style. I realized when I'm scrolling down here, this is part of the Apple Developer Academy. So this is not surprising that you went with a very like Apple style page where it's like, I want your attention to focus only on this beautiful image right here. However, because I can't see it all at the same time, and I honestly can't even fit the whole thing on my screen, I don't change my browser screen size specifically for these videos. So like I have one tab set that I have open all the time because I want these to remain consistent. So I'm not going to move my my page around and resize the screen, but I kind of want to see this a little bit bigger. So I kind of want to push Mixity, connecting music listeners with the local music scene, over to the left, and I want to prioritize that image maybe over to the right or the left, whatever works for you. But I want to see more of it. Yeah. All right, so the type of project we're working on is a design sprint / UI design / mobile design. So that type doesn't really communicate much to me because I don't really know what exactly you did as part of a design sprint / UI design / mobile design. So maybe the type of project is UI design and mobile design. Some of the actions that you took included running the design sprint. I would always want to see more about what exactly your role was, not just product designer, but I created the research plan, conducted the interviews, synthesized and analyzed the results of those interviews, and produced a report, blah, 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 of stuff. So tell me a little bit more about that. Again, the tools that you're using, they don't really matter as much because these are very translatable skills. This was a 1-week team design sprint completed while attending the Apple Developer Academy. I haven't even heard of this, so this is actually really cool. Now I got to go do some Googles. Actually, look up, no, I'll search for it in a few. All right. Mixity is a way to explore a city's music scene based on upcoming shows. The user selects a city either by browsing a feed of trending / featured cities or by searching for it. They're then able to listen to a playlist based on upcoming concerts in the area, pulling data from SeatGeek. That's cool. Detroit being the place that birthed Motown. Yes. Oh, God. Now I need to put on a Motown playlist. And distracted. Ooh. And the place where many amazing artists found their start. This was an exciting opportunity to connect my love for my city to my love of music. I love this. I kind of would love to see this closer to the top, like not just music listeners with the local music scene, but I love that context for you. Okay, so the problem, and it feels like you've got a lot of white space separating this, so it honestly feels like this line is just a tiny bit too close to the base of this, but maybe that's just me. I wonder, inspect, if I throw this in a device, what am I going to see? Why do I have... it's from Footloose. Anywho, ooh, okay, this is a really cool use of the tab-based navigation. Super easy. So UX, UI, resume, more and about. Love this. This looks good. This looks really good on mobile. Not interested in the process. Want to see the final prototype? No problem. This looks fantastic on mobile. All right, that's not what I'm here for though. So I wanted to make sure that this flows. This feels just a touch too close on desktop, but the size of text and the size of the header is really defining the hierarchy for me. So I know what I'm looking at. So now I'm just being nitpicky about the spacing. One of the best feelings is discovering a new song or new artist to jam out to. But with the oversaturation of big named artists on the radio and on streaming services, how does one find new music from upcoming and local artists? You ask some friends and go to a few local music shows, but it yields fewer results than you would like. Music listeners want to be exposed to a variety of music and also learn where they can go to listen to live music from the artists they discover. I actually really love that you're like, not interested in the process, want to see the final prototype. That's fantastic. This is something I have been recommending for folks for the last few months. We need to be cognizant of how little time a hiring manager or recruiter might have when they have so many other tasks. This is probably whatever role they're hiring for is probably not the only role that they're hiring for. We're all multitasking because we're all expected to do more with less in an ever crunched timeline of things that we're expected to do for our jobs. That's just normal. So I really love that you're like, hey, seriously, do you just want to see if I have visual chops? Fantastic. Click over there. Love it. All right, design process, research and discover, brainstorm and define, design, and then final designs. I feel like you could break this up into 4 or 5. So you've got research, discover, brainstorm, and design. Basically, brainstorm, define. This feels way too close. I mean, there is no padding whatsoever inside this. This might actually look really good on, let's see, on inspect. If we look at it on a device, it probably looks fantastic. Let's scroll. Oh, okay. It actually feels like that could use a little zhuzhing as well. So I'm going to suggest that you give a little bit more spacing to these, break them up in a way that feels more logical to fit inside these cards. And if that doesn't actually work, then don't use the cards. Don't feel like you have to break down your design process into specific chunks just because that's how everybody else has done it. Talk about user research and discovery. This is where you can show the tasks that you did. So if it's research and discovery, that's a headline and you're like, conducted user research. Did you develop the research plan? Include that. That's actually really helpful to know. Did you do competitor research? Was that a SWOT analysis? How did you assess that? And then creating a user persona. What's that based on? Is that based on user interviews? Is that the user research we're talking about here? Give me a little bit more details. High-level goals, defining those high-level goals and the task flow. Yeah, I want to see more, a little bit better of a process. It doesn't need to be visual, but I'd like to know more about the tasks that you did than just about the general high-level ideas, because everyone does some form of these, but this doesn't tell me as a hiring manager with a specific need on my team where you might actually fit in. Research and discovery. User research. After thoroughly reading the brief, we jumped right into researching how people currently discovered new music and who's listening to the most music within various demographics. How did you do that? So you read the brief. I don't even feel like you need to mention that. So how I would rephrase this is I wanted to know, how are people currently discovering new music and who is listening to the most music within various demographics? I'm actually about to show y'all something. Ooh, this may or may not work. We'll see. So let's do, where's my console? We're going to stop using that. All right. So I'm going to say document dot design mode, learn how to spell design mode. You can just tab right through, equals on, in quotes. So document design mode is now on. So I'm in the browser and I'm about to fuck around with your visuals. So I would skip to, don't capitalize, wanted to know. Oh, how do I do a bullet point? How okay, typing sucks. Okay, how are people currently discovering new music? And who is listening to the most music within various demographics? This is the kind of stuff that I would want to see. What are the research goals that you have identified? And this is your research goal right here. So I want to know, this is what your research is trying to determine. How are people discovering new music? And who are the demographics? Who are the people who are listening to the most music within various demographics? What are these demographics that you want to know? So let me actually refresh this because I just like to show off document.design mode, but also that is available to you. And this means when I refresh the page, all those things disappear. This is how I do other Franken mockups too. Okay, so call out you. We didn't do this as a team. We're not hiring you as a team. We're hiring you, Ciondra. So let's say I wanted to know what this research is. So I also love that you did bench research. So you looked at other or secondary research. So you want to find out what's going on. And this is how you determined that. You went to look at other research. This right here needs to be bullet points, bullet points, bullet points, bullet points. I would take some of these details out and use a visual. Give me some visual. The Silent Generation. They're still alive? Okay. They regularly listen to music on the radio. So many jokes I really want to say because, like, what radio is still out there that isn't... never mind. I want to see this in a more visual format, and I don't need to see the 27 to 7%. That's not super helpful for me, and it's not helpful. It's not easy to process this information right now. So what does this tell you? And if this is the research, what is your takeaway from this research? So music, your insight number one, music apps and recommendations from friends and family are the most prominent ways to discover new music. Okay. Oh, interesting. I like this layout. This survey performed by YouGov shows that 35% of people surveyed discover music through music apps and 31% through recommendations from friends and family. Nice. After discovering who's listening and who's listening, and how and where they're finding new music, the question I wanted to answer was, are people willing to travel for music? And if so, how far? So quotes around this so that it is really clear. This is the question I am posing. Insight number 2, on average, 50% of music listeners are willing to travel to another state for concerts and festivals. Yeah, that's fair. This is really cool. Oh, I'm really loving that you're showing that you've done this research and you're drawing insights from it. This 2023 survey of 1,000 participants performed by Price for Limo survey shows that 40 to 50% of listeners were willing to travel to another state to attend a concert or festival. I'd love to see here, right here in the middle, what these two polls, literally a statement of what I understand from these polls is, I'm going to design something that is blah. Like, what's your determination? So now that you've got these insights, people are willing to do that. What does that tell you about the design you're about to embark on? What does that tell you about the parameters or the features that you should include? Tell me more. And it doesn't have to be long, just a little line of here's what I took away from that and here's why it's going to impact my design work. Competitor research. After researching the users, also, hold on, let me back this up. If you aren't going to talk about design sprint and how that was laid out, if you had any participation in the facilitation of it, don't mention the design sprint. It's not helpful to this context. I've been expecting to see some stuff about a design sprint and why we did what and when, but that's not necessary to this. So UI design and mobile design, I am very curious if there's going to be UX coming into this, but we'll find out soon. So tell me more about why this research helped you make a determination in your work. Competitor research. After researching the users, we decided that researching the competitors would be advantageous to understand the current patterns, weaknesses, and strengths of other competitor companies in the market. All right, this is a little word salady because we're talking about after researching the users, we decided that researching the competitor. No, just saying I wanted to know what other apps were providing the features or were not providing the features that we are trying to design for. So why did you conduct the competitor research? It sounds like, well, we researched the users and we're supposed to do a competitor analysis. Okay, but why? What is your intention? What is your intention in completing this competitor research? This would be a lot easier to process as a table. I don't typically love and or recommend tables and designs, but this right here is just a lot of information. So the text size makes everything, makes the lines really difficult to process. It's all really, really close together. I would reduce the text size. I would put some outlines around this content so that we know, like in this column, we're looking at Spotify's strengths and weaknesses. In this column, this feels just a little complex. You've also got a lot of what we call like orphans over here. And this is just for editing and like reducing visual complexity. I don't actually know the right words. I'm not an editor. I should call my friend Kaylin, help. But you're leaving a bunch of single words on these lines, and it feels like this just adds to the cognitive load as someone is trying to process this information. So like, let's reduce that text size, give it some structure with a table, and this is going to be a way better output to demonstrate the work that you did. What's more important is the outcome of the work. So the output is we did the competitor analysis and now we know some strengths and some weaknesses on these competitors, but what's the outcome? What did you determine from doing the competitive analysis that you should or should not include as part of this app design? So we're going to the user persona next. After reviewing our findings on potential user behaviors and due to the time crunch, I moved to developing a user persona to represent our target audience. Okay, so we've got Maya Caldwell, based in Providence. I'm assuming that's Rhode Island. To find local music venues, is unsure where they are when visiting new cities, wary if she will enjoy certain concerts. If she's unfamiliar with the performer, that's me. Yeah, this feels like it could be, again, this is just a lot of large text. It feels like if we've got, this is great body size text, maybe we need to add just a little bit of smaller text to make this feel more cohesive, because it feels like a picture was stuck here and then there's this other content, but it doesn't feel like this is a contained unit. Again, tell me the outcome. What does creating this user persona do for you? Is it because it was required as part of the project, or because it actually helped you determine what features to include or not include in this app? I want to know why you did this work. Otherwise, I'm assuming you did busy work. All right, let's move into brainstorm and define. It would be amazing, right? Before we move into brainstorm and define, it would be really nice to know what are your key takeaways from the research and discovery session. You did a user persona, you conducted some competitor research, you looked at some bench research that has already been conducted, but now we feel ready, or now I feel ready to move into the brainstorm and define, because I had my research questions answered, I understand my user, and I know the direction for the features that we want to create, right? Something like that. Summarize that. That's the whole storytelling. So connect the big dots for me and some real brief comments. I brainstormed some how might we questions and focused on answering the questions with the most unique solutions. Ooh, tell me why the most unique solutions. So when I think of UX design, and this is, again, you didn't call this out as being a UX design project, so I probably shouldn't lean into this, but a question that I would have as a hiring manager is, why did you want to focus on unique solutions? Typically, in order for users to feel comfortable picking up a new product, it has to have some kind of familiarity. We have what is called external consistency between our products and other products that are out on the market. Like the reason that Spotify and Apple and Tidal probably have really similar structures and navigations is because people are trying to accomplish the same tasks on these different apps. So if you're adding a unique solution, is that actually going to solve the user's needs, or is it just like, we wanted to make something really cool? So I want to make sure that this is balancing the user's needs with maybe the business needs or the expectations. This helped us generate ideas that would set us apart from our competitors. How can we help Maya discover new venues and cities while traveling? Ooh, how can we help Maya interact with her friends to share new music? These are really interesting. I love this. Blind ticket purchasing. Buy a ticket to an unknown artist and venue. Terrifying. As someone who's not really big on new experiences, I am very much a rinse and repeat vacation kind of girl. So that is terrifying. But some people love that. So that's actually a really fun idea. Venue specific playlists based on who's performing there. That's super cool. Featured venues sections, and then like favorite venues or venues I'd like to visit. Cool. Song album review. Users can read reviews written by friends about songs and albums. Song plus picture. Ooh, that's fun. User takes a picture and writes about how that song connects to that picture for them. I honestly love that. That alone would be a really fun feature. Share a song feature. Ooh, user turns on feature and people in their area will be able to share a song with the user. Ooh. I mean, on the bright side, it's just a song and it's probably not just an unsolicited dick pic, but interesting idea. Interesting idea. I'm excited to see if you actually follow through on that. Okay. High-level goals. Based on research and insights, we organized our findings to create primary goals for the rest of our time. The rest of our time. Come back and refine this sentence. This doesn't make total sense. Decided to focus on the following points. These are goals. All right, so high-level goals. I feel like I actually just had to pause that and answer a phone call because my partner's like, what are we having for dinner? And the answer is, I don't know. We could probably see if there's something in the freezer. No. Anyhow, refine this text right here, because these feel like features, not primary goals. So I would like to know how you decided to focus on these following points. So these are features. Did you do a 2x2, a matrix to say this is going to be the most valuable for users and the easiest to implement? Like, what's the measurement for why you decided to focus on these? So the first goal is highlight the music scene of cities, purchase tickets with ease, feature local artists, and have a fun, playful design. All right, I love all of these. Potential task flow. Whoa. What is this? Is that on hover? Now I'm nervous. Okay. I created potential task flows that users would take when using Mixity. I then created a user task flow chart to represent and understand the path a user would take to complete the goal. All right. Oh, it's on hover. It's a GIF. All right. That is too fast. That's way too fast. First of all, is not accessible. That just made my poor little ADHD brain go, what? Okay. So task 2, task 1, ready, yeah. That's too much movement. So I would love to see you break that up and not a GIF. Just show me 2 different task flows and what they are. But that's a no from me. Sorry, that sounded so rude. It's a no for me, dog. That's what's his face. Oh gosh, I'm not remembering. It doesn't matter, but like I'm super distracted and that is really hard to move on from that. So if anybody has a hint of ADHD and is on this case study, that is like it is a full stop for me. So it's interesting, but I can't even assess if that is an effective task flow without being able to actually see it like this. So, good job creating a task flow. What was your intention? So it was just to represent and understand the path a user would take to complete the goal. All right, so we've probably identified maybe the happy path. What's the plan for finding out if they don't have a happy path? What happens if they get distracted? Do we know if we've checked for like little doom loops where we're like, oh no, I'm stuck in this little circle and I don't really know how to get back to the main page? Typically, that's not something that happens in like super brand new apps, but I have seen it happen a couple of times. Let's see. Designs. We started with wireframes. Did we? Tell me more. Wireframes. Why did you include these wireframes on your case study? Is this an output that you are excited to share with someone? And if so, tell me why. So give me some context for what these wireframes were intended to do. Is this where we started from? We did Crazy Eights where we all sketched different screens together. What is the point? Is the question is why is this meaningful enough to include on your case study? Branding, logo, goals to connect the location pin icon to our focus of music in a simplistic but fun way. Okay, love it. Colors, back to top. Has that been there the whole time? Or is that just right here? Weird. Is that stuck somewhere? That's probably a Ready Mag issue, but interesting. Color palette inspired by mixing primary colors, which result in these secondary colors, that represent the extensive range of emotions we feel when experiencing music in new places. That is an interesting design choice. I can't argue with that because I don't have the ability to match my emotions to colors. I guess they're mostly neon, if anything. So that's an interesting choice, but it also makes me wonder, do I have the app? It allows me Spectrum. Ooh. There we go. So I have an accessibility tool on my browser called Spectrum, and it helps me see what these colors might look like to people with specific vision, color vision deficiency disorders. I don't know if that's what that's called. And it looks like these are going to be kind of, ooh, that's pretty. They're going to be kind of difficult to tell apart. Achromatopsia, that's a tough one. Low contrast, interesting. Some of these are going to look really, really similar. So I want to know, did you do any accessibility testing? And also, did you check with users to see if these are the colors that they would actually prefer to express in a music app? So it feels like just selected by mixing primary colors, which is interesting, but it doesn't tell me why. What was the meaning for this? All right, final designs. For the prototype, we implemented branding and visual design with wireframes. The use of imagery was combined with the chosen color palette to create a familiar yet energetic aesthetic for the user. More importantly, the imagery chosen with the color palette, I love that you chose the location, the outline of the map, and then putting the artist inside of it. That is actually super, super cool. And I would love to know how you determined that, who created those. If that wasn't you, no worries. But like, this is super cool. Tell me more about what I'm expected to see. So I actually love these screens here for the prototype implementing the branding and visual design, but I want more context for why these are the 3 screens you decided to show next. So this makes sense because you're bringing that playful imagery and the chosen color palette, but this next one doesn't tell me, is it strictly based on because you were listening to Mine by Beyonce? How are these screens related? New York, San Francisco, Detroit. This is super fun. I'm loving the visuals. I love that this is a really playful and interesting but very readable font. This is or a typeface. This is really cool. Featured venues and landmarks. I feel like everything is really helpful. This is probably very accessible. I mean, it might be a little weird on a couple of these things, but I am hoping that you will choose these or choose to assess these. Okay, yeah, give me some more context for why you chose to include these screens above any other screen you could have chosen, and then tell me, give me a summarization. What do you hope that me as the recruiter or the hiring manager, what are you hoping that I took away from reviewing your portfolio? If that's, I'm really proud of the visual design that I was able to bring to this. I guided the user experience and the task flows. That's some UX in there. So I'd love to know if you created those based on user expectations, based on user testing, based on the tasks that you intended people to accomplish. Just summarize this and tell me what my takeaways are and what you most want me as the hiring manager to remember about you. This is your opportunity to make that one final I'm amazing. Here's a list of reasons why, and you should definitely hire me. In that case, get in touch. Or you can use a link to also check out my case study on this for more examples of how I bring empathy to blah, blah, blah. I don't know. That would be amazing. Ciondra, I really appreciated being able to check out your portfolio. And also, I love that you went through a completely different experience that I personally have seen designers go through. So now I need to go check out the Apple Developer Academy. That is really interesting. And I'm loving that we've gotten a chance to find out more about you. So thank you so much for submitting your portfolio for review. Everyone else, thank you so much for joining me for yet another Early Career Designer portfolio review. Hopefully these takeaways were very helpful for you. And if so, let me know what was the most meaningful. If you made it this far in the video, I'd also like to know, what would you like to see next? More UX design stuff, more UI design stuff, app design, mobile design. Web apps are also a thing. So when I say apps, it's not just phones. Tell me more about what you want to see and I will bring it to you. All right, everybody have a fantastic day. I'll see you tomorrow with another Early Career Designer portfolio review.